Moving on. Now, like most singers, the journey into music career is usually inspired by being born into a music family or being a member of a church choir. Now, Afro-Urban singer Sammy Lee has a similar story and tells Entertainment News on Channels Television his journey into music and more.
Afro-Urban singer and multi-instrumentalist Samuel Ayobami Adewumi, popularly known as Sammy Lee, says growing up in a music-loving family ignited his passion to make music at a relatively early age.
I remember my dad brought musical instruments to the house in our basement. We had the drum set, we had the piano, we had the guitar, the lead guitar and the bass guitar. So luckily my brother, one of my brothers, was able to play the drums without anybody even teaching him. You know, then everybody in the house was so happy, and that kind of, you know, connected to me. And my dad got a teacher for my firstborn to teach him how to play the drums. So every time, you know, the teacher was teaching him how to play, I was somewhere in the corner watching, you know, and looking at all the things that they're doing. And after they're done, I'll pick the sticks and, you know, try to, you know, picture all the things that I learned from there, even though I was so small and my legs couldn't touch the pedal. So it pretty much started then for me at the age of 8. Then I joined the junior choir in church. From the junior choir, I went on to the senior choir, where I started to play the piano, and, you know, I used the same theory of piano to actually play the guitar on my own. So then from there, I entered the studio professionally to record my first song. And from then, everything I just, you know, been music all around me.
While still an undergraduate at the University of Ghana, Sammy Lee had the opportunity to perform at a gig for international students, and his performance was well received. That was a turning point for his musical career.
So that was actually where I started to showcase my musical talents. I remember when I got into the level 100 in school then, and we had this opening ceremony for the international students, and I performed, and, you know, we had people from Netherlands, people from Poland, and, you know, different people from all over the world, and they were all dancing to my music. And there I knew that, oh wow, this thing is meant for me. And it was such a good vibe, honestly. It was such a good vibe. So they really accepted the music in a way that I didn't expect, because those were my early years, so I didn't know how people from different parts of the world will actually react to my music, except my Nigerian friends who were already listening to my music already. So it was such a big boost for me.
Within 4 years of his foray into music, Sammy Lee has had the privilege to collaborate with famed Afro-pop singers including Iyanya, Ice Prince, Mr. Easy, and most recently he released a collaborative single with Lil Kesh.
I remember my collaboration with Lil Kesh, you know, was a different kind of spiritual vibes that we had. You know, I met him at the DJ Consequence video shoot, and I played him my record, and he just loved it, like, instantly. And he said, yeah, we'll get into the studio and do something. But apparently the song that we wanted to do at first wasn't the song that we ended up doing, you know, because I made the weight after then, and, you know, he just loved it and said, no, let me jump on this one. So with Lil Kesh, he has his own kind of vibe, and when he was in his good mood, you know, he just hit me up like, yo, my bro, pull up and let's run this record. You know, same thing to Ice Prince. I remember I met Ice Prince at Lacanpan Tropicana Beach Resort. I'd gone for Praise's EP launch, you know, and it was pretty much the same vibes but different atmosphere. I just played in an Afro trap record that I did, you know, because when I was making the song, I actually had Ice Prince in my mind, and, you know, how universe arranged him to be in my presence at that point in time, and boom, once we left the beach resort, we headed straight to his house and we made it happen. It's a banger already.
His genre, which he refers to as Afro-Urban, inspired his song Wait.
So when I recorded the song, I pictured, sometimes I go into a trance and I picture a scenario, so there was a scenario where I went to a party and a friend of mine spotted a lady and she was about to leave. So she told the waiter to tell, the lady to wait, so that's why I kind of, used that. And there was a legendary song already that had that Yoruba vibe. So I just, took that, imputed it in my own, Afro-Urban vibes, I made it, new school, So basically, it was a scenario that I saw, that inspired Wait. I'm a continent building initiative person. I support the movement of building our African culture, our sound. Now that the world is listening to our sound, it is time for us to showcase everything that we got. We have the drums, we have our melodies, we have our, culture, our dressing. Like you see, I'm rocking my African urban, jackets, so I'm pushing the African culture to the level that no one has ever seen before. So my sound is called Afro-Urban.
The singer says that different sounds from the instruments often determine how his music will sound. Sammy Lee is gearing up to release his EP next year.